Hey everyone, welcome to another installment from Ampro Engineering. This is the RC4 drive Chevrolet Blazer body. It happens to be on a RC4 drive Trailfinder 2 chassis, but the upgrade that we're going to talk about is on the body itself, specifically there. Now, unfortunately, my Blazer isn't assembled, obviously, so I can't show you how it looks on this truck, but these taillights are held in place using 4 screws, 2 at the rear, 2 at the side, and there are 2 LED mounting options. Now, unfortunately, the mounting options don't particularly line up too well with the reverse light, and on top of that, there's no light pipe, so they kind of just illuminate this weird corner. You get your red dot. Oftentimes, people will replace these taillights with units from the Traxxas TRX4 Blazer. Now, those are a significant improvement, but they've got a lot of issues as well. They don't fit right. There's also no light pipe in those, and they're kind of weirdly shaped with respect to how they're supposed to be. So to solve this issue, what we have done is created a new set of taillight housings and lenses. Now, if you're familiar with Ampro taillights, there's really no difference here. The way these work is you have an LED port at the rear, this large 5mm port, which will illuminate this entire section. This is all light pipe. It has to be painted. All this area here in the back, minus where the LEDs go, has to be painted in a silver or chrome color to help with maximum light dispersal. This version here also comes with a spot right there for a turn signal. There are some light kits that will have the driving light be brake and turn, but for the most part, the inexpensive ones do require a driving and brake and signal at the top. There's your reverse light. The reverse light, as you can see here, is open on all 4 sides. This will help to minimize the amount of light bleed between the red and the white light LEDs. You'll paint the area around that in silver to help focus the light when it's on. Now, to make this look good, we've got these 2 lenses. These are straight off of the printer at Shapeways. Each corner, it's hard to see, but each corner has a recessed cosmetic screw that the actual Chevrolet would have had. They also only fit in one orientation. You can see here that the corners have little rounds, so only, only that lens will fit on that taillight. I'm going to walk through all this right now, but step 1 is we've got to cut this all out. Please remember that there are links in the description to these parts. To mount the Ampro taillight, what we're going to have to do is take our Dremel tool and pretty much cut out this entire area in here up to 2mm around the perimeter. We do want to be careful here on the inside. We'll show the opposite one, because then we're going to have a very thin wall right here. Just take your time and we should be good. So let me go ahead and get the Dremel and get going. Once you've got the hole cut out, you can come in here with your blade and just kind of clean it up a little bit here. Again, you don't want to be too aggressive with the cutting, since you can always remove material, but if you end up cutting out too much, you're kind of in trouble. So this looks pretty good. Okay. Top's got a bit more to remove. We can take our taillight and test fit it. With the hole in the rear panel of the Blazer cut out, we can now take a look at the production taillight. So these are a 2-part component. We have the main body, the left and the right, and then we have the lenses. So let's start off with the main bodies. These will come attached with a sprue in the middle. You can go ahead and just snip that off. Got some flush cutters here. Careful, that will shoot out into your eye most likely. And then we'll focus on the, what is this? Oh yeah, this little piece here. Sorry, this little piece here had been attached right there and just in transit. It did break, but that was just a sprue to hold the lens on. So once that hole is cut out, you can see that the entire part just kind of slots happily right in there. Then we have our lenses. So again, we'll cut that sprue off. There's one. And there's two, just like that. The theory behind all this is we want to give this a bath. Even though this came from Shapeways and it looks pretty clean, usually there's some residual support material and that is oily. You want to make sure that all of that is gone, otherwise the paint won't bond properly. So we'll scrub this with a detergent. That's all the pieces. Here at the rear, we can mount a single 5mm red taillight, a single 3mm red, most likely red, but you can use orange as well, turn signal, and then the reverse light. You can always cut out the orange LED in your turn signal kit if you want, replace it with the red one. We're going to paint this entire bucket area here. That will all be painted silver. The lens will be painted completely in translucent red, except for the depression right here. For that, we'll put a little piece of tape to make sure that we don't get any red paint in there, because that is our reverse light. Step one, there's a little bit of texture on here. I'm going to go ahead and sand this with a 1000 grit piece of sandpaper just to kind of smooth it out. There are no embossed areas. All of the little screw holes in the corner are debossed, so you won't have a problem with that. Once I'm done there, I will give this a bath and then paint it up. Well, here we are. This is Tamiya PS37 translucent red. I know it's a polycarbonate paint, but it still worked quite well with the Tamiya lacquer clear coat. So that is where we are. I did both sides, and you do want to do both sides, otherwise you'll see that this kind of has a hazy look to it. But to mask off the reverse light was very, very easy. Just take some Tamiya masking tape, get your fingernail or something blunt, and not too sharp. You don't want to cut it, of course, with like, don't use an X-Acto knife. I just use my fingernail. You can use a toothpick as well and just get it in those corners, cut it out using that X-Acto knife, and it made a really nice sharp rectangle right there. The rear is just clear coat. Okay, next we have the two housings. I'm going to paint these in silver, so I'll do the entire back side here, and then we're going to get right in between that reverse light, you see kind of all the way around there, to help to prevent some of the light bleed. Backing has been painted in a low gloss black, and that'll help with the light blocking. And because the inside is silver, there's still a nice sheen on the inside. I also went around the perimeter with this chrome paint pen over here. There's a link in the description. And the last thing I want to do is get my model glue, and I've got this ancient bottle of Model Master liquid cement. There is a small ledge right here, right there. Okay, you can see it's the area without the little dimples. That is the ledge that you want to put the adhesive on. There's a distinct gap between this layer, and this is to prevent glue from kind of bleeding in here and looking funny. So to do this, you do want to have the adhesive around the entire perimeter, right? Because we don't want dirt or dust to get in here. So just around the entire perimeter, just like that. And then we'll just drop the lens on top. Now be careful as to which lens goes where, because there is a left and a right. Notice the sharp corners here and where the reverse light is. If you put those sharp corners there, you'll see the reverse light's in the wrong spot. So line all that up. And it's done. Let her dry. The taillight is in. I'm going to use one of my RC car lighting kits. I believe this one here is used on episode 39. Now, as I don't have the originals from this truck finish, it's going to be hard to do a side by side. But as you can tell by this image, you can see that we have quite the difference between the before and after of this taillight. It's no longer a dot. Let's go ahead and hit the brakes. So we get some nice illumination. Notice that the reverse light area is not lighting up, which is what we want. And again, it's not this orangey color in person, it's bright red. Reverse now. There we go. Notice very minimal illumination around this. It's focused completely in the reverse area. This lens style does have an additional spot for a turn signal. On the actual truck, it's a dual filament bulb, which means parking lights are the low beam on the bulb and the turn signal and brake lights are the high beam on the bulb. That's not the case with a lot of these light kits. So in this case here, the turn signal and the brake light are on different bulbs. You can get some really nice ones, in particular by My Trick RC, where we'll have that functionality. So it does give you the option to use this single 5mm LED, or a 5mm brake light and a 3mm turn signal. So completely up to you. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey Ampro, Traxxas already makes a taillight for their Blazer that is a pretty good fit on the RC four-wheel drive. And I'm well aware of that. Let's just take a look and see how good it is. So initial inspection, it's quite lovely. Chrome plating is outstanding. The fact that it comes already red and ready to install, that's a massive plus. It's night and day better than the RC four-wheel drive version. Now this says left, so kind of the weird thing is, if I show you this is interesting. So this is mine. This fits the contour of this quite nicely. Here's the Traxxas. I don't know why it's like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of these square body Chevy pickups, and that's not the shape of the taillight. So it has an interesting shape. It might fit kind of okay here. This says left rear. So it's telling me that it goes into this side here. It's a weird shape. Anyway, let's pull the bulb out, and we'll just shove that in there. Again, you only have 2 light options here, just for reverse and for your, oh, come on, dude. It's just a big dot. So there you go. I mean, it's effectively exactly the same as the RC four-wheel drive one. It just doesn't have, I think it's less noticeable when it's not on, that's for sure. Let's see how the reverse light works. Brake light, just a big dot. Again, it's not really orange, it's red. And reverse. Reverse light's pretty good. Some bleed here in the middle, but it's not bad. A better option than the RC four-wheel drive version. If you want your lights to look dead scale, then I'm sorry, this is just, again, it's a big dot. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. Links are in the description to Shapeways where you can get this. The question is, what RC car's taillights will I fix next? Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.